We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's Rebirthing Program, as well as Jamila Sense, and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Hey everyone, welcome again to Gray Lives on the Rise. You see me with my shirt, right? Okay, yeah. I'm the host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and I am so honored to be with you again on this Sunday with the lovely, inspirational, informative, brilliant Tina Wallace. You're going to have a good time with this sister. She and I met and we just talked more than 15 minutes. We talked over an hour or so, and I had to pull myself off the phone when I first met her because it was so empowering. She's just amazing. But before we get to Miss Tina, we're going to talk about how Gray Lives on the Rise got started. Gray Lives on the Rise got started about 3 years ago. I was walking, doing a power walk. I love doing power walks, and something came into my crown chakra. It was spirit. You can call it God, Jehovah, Allah, Ola, Damare, Shinike, whatever the name is that you use for that presence. And it said, you need to do something about the 50 plus generation because there's nothing out there that really addresses them except Medicare and AARP. And most of my friends, including myself, we're really not connected to those groups. I think they are wonderful, but my health is relatively good. And I'm not a donor. So AARP, I have the card, but in terms of the wonderful things that they do, I have not availed myself to those things. So I just said, yeah, we need to do something that's more comprehensive. And then several things came in. This energy said you need to have a name for it because it's a movement. You need to have people relanguage how they see themselves, and you need to have a store and a podcast. So the name first came, Gray Lives Matter. And I said, nah, that's overused. And then what came into my consciousness was Gray Lives on the Rise. I said, I like that. The hair doesn't have to be gray. Tina's hair is a beautiful gray. You don't have to have hair, period. Okay, it's a consciousness. And then I said, okay, we're on the rise. So Gray Lives on the rise. We're on the upswing. And we're not elderly. We're not sedentary. We're not over the hill. We are vibrant, we are golden, we are mature, we are seasoned. And so I told people about those adjectives and they really resonated with that. And then the other thing was the energy said, the spirit said, you need to have a store so people can connect with what you're saying and what you're doing. You need to have something like my t-shirt. We have hoodies, we have floor mats, we have mugs, we have an array of wonderful products that have Gray Lives on the Rise on them. And people feel so empowered when they use those products or wear them. And the last thing was the podcast. And so I started talking to people globally. This is a global podcast. It is, we've had people on from Serbia, Eastern Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the United Arab Emirates, Haiti, Costa Rica, Jamaica, the Netherlands, New Zealand, you name it almost. My goal is to have all the countries represented. And it's for men and women who are over 50, the 50 plus generation. And everyone was having the same issue. They felt dismissed and denigrated when they became 50. You could be 49 and you're relevant. Once you turn 50, people start tossing you out the window and they see you as being over the hill, and they tend to gaslight you. So they were having the same issues worldwide. And I said, wow, that was only in America, but it isn't. So that's how Great Lives on the Rise got started. We are definitely a movement. And a little bit about myself. I am an award-winning author, a Reiki master, a certified aromatherapist, a certified metaphysician, college professor of psychology, and I have my own institute where I teach courses in terms of spirituality, and I have my own modality called Healing Ancestral Trauma. And no one else is doing it this way because I haven't trained anyone, but we deal with healing the wounds from your past. And it's everything I do is spirit-led. So I tap into the divine wisdom and it downloads information to me for me to share with people. So having said all that, and one of the products that we that is used for paying for is I have my company, I don't have my label on this, but Jamila Scents, and the number one seller is Peace Be Still. And you put it in your hand, so I have to drop it, and you rub it together. It's amazing. Oh my gosh, when you smell it, you're like, oh, you're in Zen. And it's a certified aromatherapy product. I create all my products, and it gets in your body within 10 to 20 minutes. It stays in your body for up to 10 hours, and it has no contraindications. And it gets rid of stress, anxiety, depression, mosquitoes, anything that's a stressor. Peace Be Still will get rid of it. And it's under Jamila Scents. So go to our website. My website has my other companies, and Great Lives on the Rise is my latest baby. Like I said, my aromatherapy product is doing very well, and we are so thankful to you for supporting us. Go to our website, and it's oyindeenterprises.com, OYINDE Enterprises, ENTERPRISES.com. Again, that's oyindeenterprises.com. When you go, you will see Great Lives on the Rise highlighted, and you will see Jamila Sense. You will see all the courses that I teach. And call me if you're interested in being a guest on Great Lives on the Rise, or if you're interested in any of the products and services that we provide. We look forward to hearing from you. Okay, now that I've done all of that, I am going to bring on the lovely Miss Tina Wallace.
Hello.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm going to
you.
read. Oh, I'm fine. I'm going to tell people about you.
Okay.
Tina W. Wallace is an author, speaker, spiritual teacher, strategic advisor, and founder of Onyx Gold Group. With more than 30 years of experience in leadership, financial services, business development, retail management, publishing, and entrepreneurship, Tina has spent her life helping others recognize their gifts, embrace their purpose, and build something meaningful from what they have been given. At the heart of her work is conscious creation, a faith-centered philosophy that teaches people how to become intentional participants in the lives they are creating. Tina believes that our thoughts, words, beliefs, choices, and daily actions work together to shape our experiences. When these areas become aligned with source, purpose, and clear intention, transformation becomes possible. Her message speaks especially to adults over 50 who may be entering a season of reflection, reinvention, healing, or new beginnings. Tina reminds us that purpose does not expire. Dreams do not have an age limit. And no season of life is what is wasted. The wisdom gained through living can become the foundation for an extraordinary next chapter. Through Onyx Gold Group, Tina helps visionary leaders and individuals and organizations develop purpose-driven brands, businesses, platforms, partnerships, and legacy-focused initiatives. Her approach combines spiritual insight with practical strategy, allowing people to move beyond inspiration and begin creating with clarity, courage, and intention. Warm, wise, and deeply grounded in faith, Tina involves people. No, and she does involve the people, but she invites people to stop living only in response to what has happened and begin consciously creating what can happen next. Yay! And I have talked to this beautiful soul, my goodness. And I have been so impressed. And I was like, I am so happy to have had this connection that was initiated through my dear sister, Dr. Sharon Reed, the Heart Lady. And when I was telling her, I said, I'm interested in having some more speakers on my podcast. She said, I know the perfect person. And Tina and let me tell you how you know when things are in alignment. Tina and I talked. She jumped on it immediately. I said, okay, we're in alignment. When people have to think about it and ponder it, they're not in alignment with it because spirit is saying to them, this is your opportunity. And they overthink things. But Tina was right there, right there. So I set my intention for having someone quickly, and I received it who was in alignment with the purpose of our podcast and with spirit. Thank you, beloved sister, friend, queen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's get into talking about this beautiful soul being named Tina. Where, let's start with the beginning, your upbringing, where you're from, and then we're going to segue into how you got into your soul purpose.
Okay, well, I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. First, let me say hello, everyone. Uh, I, grew up there. My father was a pastor of a church. I was born when he was 66 years old, so
Oh, wow.
a little bit different life than most people. My parents were already retired when I was born, so that was something very interesting to grow up to people that were very wise. They were teachers, and I say, you inherit things more than wealth or money. You inherit things from your parents, um,
Yeah.
just in how they interact and how they walk this earth. And my parents were very spiritual, and my father was a faith. I mean, he taught me faith, I'll say. He taught me faith. And so that's what I live from, is that faith-based idea that anything is possible as long as you believe.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. So your parents were in their senior years when you were born.
Mm-hmm. My mother was a little bit younger. My father and mother married a year before, 10 months, I'll say, before I was born. And yeah, my mother was 43 and my father was 66. And
Wow.
he started pastoring in the 30s, and he was born in 1903. Yeah.
Wow. He
Mhm.
was born in 1902.
In 1903. Yes. Yes.
Wow. So what was that like growing up with parents who were really seasoned and did you have other siblings? Did they have children before they met? And I'm just curious.
My mother did. My mother had children. She had 6 children um, before she met, well, five. Yeah, she had 6 children. I had to think about it because I'm number 7. So I was thinking about, yes, she had 6 children before she met my dad. And so my siblings are a lot older than me. So I really grew up as the only child. My last sister left. I was 6 years old, so to go to college, she left, and so I grew up pretty much as an only child. Although they were having children, so my nieces
Yeah.
and nephews became more like my siblings than my actual siblings. But it was a different life, when you are that people say a PK or pastor's child, life is a little bit different. And so
Mhm.
it is definitely life under the microscope. But I treasure my upbringing. I treasure my, the things that I went through as a child because they made me who I am today. And
Mhm.
of course, when you go to school and kids think your parents are your grandparents,
Oh yeah.
that's a little bit
Yeah.
different. But no, they gave me such a great foundation and just wisdom, beyond, the age that I, at any point that I was. So I appreciated the life that they gave me and, the sacrifices that they made for me. Who at
Yeah.
66 wants to be raising, or 67 wants to be raising a 1 year old, so, but my dad was always very patient with me and encouraged me to find my own path, even though he was a pastor in a religion. He encouraged me to find my own path, and I really cherish that about him.
Mm. That's really wonderful.
Mhm.
That's really wonderful. So you went to school, yeah, because my mom was 38 when she had me.
Okay.
So back then, people, yeah, because people were having children when they were like in their 20s. So she was an older parent. My brother was born 20 years before me. So
Oh, okay.
my mom had him when she was a teenager, and then 20 years later, I pop up. I think I was a menopausal baby. I
Yeah.
really do. I think she's like, I'm done. And no, you're not. I
Mhm.
popped up. So yeah, it's very different because you're you're wiser because your
Mhm.
parents are older, they've gone through whatever, and so you see things a little differently. And I kind of struggled with that because my mom was older. Now my other friends' parents were a lot younger, and kids sometimes will tease you about that. But then,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's but that was okay because I understood that I was born to them, and as I believe, I picked them, right?
yes,
So
yes,
coming into this life, I had a specific purpose, and if I would have been born to younger parents, it would have been very difficult for me to do what I do today. I do know that. I do know that as I've you know grown into really grown into and grown up in this purpose, and at times ran away from it. Really didn't want to.
yeah,
I'm like, really, this is what I got to do this time. But that's the humanistic side of us, right? We know spiritually, we know what we're here for. So,
mm-hmm,
so,
mm-hmm,
yeah, and I enjoy, helping people along this path. That's what it boils down to. So,
yeah. So as a child, what were some of the things that made you more focused on helping others? Because usually people like you and like me, we don't just get into it. It's like a pulling, it's like a calling. And then it becomes more uh, solidified as we become older. So as a child, what did you do in terms of connecting with others?
well, just being a pastor's daughter, that's just part of it because as a pastor's family, it's all about service, right?
Mm,
So everything we did was for the benefit of others. I talked about, how we talked, together about how my mother had a garden, and we had a garden at home, but we also had a garden between the two churches that um, my father, pastored. That was for the community, and so
mm,
as things were ready to ripen, she would tell the kids, "Hey, go have tell your mom the tomatoes are ready," or tell your mom the pole beans are ready. Come, tell her to bring her paper bag over here so she can get, food. And so we always, served the people, and we fed them, and we comforted them. And, as I said, even having clothes ready at any point in time for 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. If someone was rushed to the hospital, or if there was some kind of domestic abuse situation, I mean, we had to go. And so my father even helped people, from the South come north and put down payments on houses. And that's when the church was really, and I'm not saying that it isn't today, because I know that those churches still exist, but that's when I saw, growing up, that the church really was there to support the communities. And
Right.
that's all I knew. The food program, we gave away food every week, and my dad would say, "Get up, hurry up, come on, let's go." Right. And I remember one time specifically, and this is probably when I really kind of really tuned into, okay, this is a calling. This is not just something that you were just born into by chance. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was telling him, he said, "Come on, jump up, get ready. We got to go." And I said, "Dad, I'm tired of going. I'm just really tired. I don't really want to go tonight, And he said, "Well, you have to go." And I said, "Wait a minute." And I'm a teenager now. So, there's this pushback when you're a teenager. I said, "Wait a minute, you chose this. And mama chose you. So I understand that, right? I didn't choose this." And in his wisdom, he didn't get upset, which, a lot of parents would, because they would have considered that talking back. He said,
Mm-hmm.
well, he said, "You're right." He said, "I did choose this, and your mom did choose me." He said, "But this chose you, right? No, you didn't,
Wow.
but it chose you." And in those, with that word of wisdom, right?
Wow.
Just something just clicked, and I was like, "Oh, it chose me," right? And so from that point on, I understood the assignment. I did.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times in my 20s that I wanted to run away from it. I wanted to be like normal. I'll say what I saw normal people doing. I wanted to do those things. And there were times when I just, wanted to just, I always say, live a normal life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would always find me in some way. All of us have a purpose. So that thread throughout life that finds us, that calls us, that keeps showing up, right? And then, hopefully finally we really understand, what it is. And so I wake up every morning and I say, "Who do you have for me today?" So that's my prayer. I know people pray a
Yeah.
things, but my prayer is, "Who do you have for me today?"
That's beautiful, Tina. I love that. And what you said, and some of my audience is familiar with this philosophy. You chose your parents. We all choose our parents before
Mhm.
we incarnate in here. And I think people are learning more about that. They're stepping outside of traditional religions, which keep them in bondage, and stepping more into spirituality. So before you incarnated, your soul knew to choose these parents who were already giving service and interested in that, and that because that was what you had decided to do before you came here. And they
Mhm.
were the ideal parents because they were committed to it, not because of financial gains, but because um, they desired to make a difference and give from the heart chakra. I think
Mhm.
that's wonderful. So Tina in elementary school went through life and and when you became an adolescent and you knew that you had a divine purpose. So how did that shape you? Because like you said, you're going through the stages of dating and meeting people and all that, and you have this sole purpose too. And sometimes people struggle with that. I know some friends of mine who were clairvoyant and could see things when they were young, and their parents told them, "Don't talk like that." And in some cases, the parents were abusive because they were afraid for the children because they would be ostracized or whatever. And I know my mom never ostracized, never ridiculed me or belittled me because I had the gift too. But how did that, how is that interwoven into your life with your special gifts? Because you had this spiritual calling, not
Yeah.
religious, but spiritual calling.
Right. Well, and we all have gifts, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we tune in, in at a very early age, or sometimes it may show up, later, in adolescence, but it's there. And,
Mm-hmm.
if we understand and we're not afraid of it, then it's our unfair advantage, right, in this world.
Yeah.
That's what I call our unfair advantage, and it helps us with our purpose and to navigate things as they come. And so very early on, um, and I say it's because the way I came into the world, right? My mother coded when I was born, at the time that I was getting ready to come into the world, and they had called it. They called time on her, and as they were cleaning up the room, she took a deep breath, and she was, back. So they started working on her again, and she survived. And so when I was 10 years old, I never knew that. No one ever told me. I just know that people would say, she seems okay. Like, oh, yeah, wow, she seems normal. Right? But I never knew what that meant. I just thought, okay, I just didn't really know. And I didn't ever ask. And so when I was 10 years old, I got a knock on the door. Well, someone knocked on our front door. And my mother got up to get the door, and I heard her and the lady talking, but I didn't know, what they were talking about. And the lady came in, my mother had her sit down, and she said, "Wow, it is so wonderful to see you. Come here and give me a hug." And I'm like, I don't know this lady, but that wasn't unusual. As a pastor's daughter, that was not unusual that someone would ask that. And so I hugged her, and her hug was so warm and just inviting. And she said, "You don't know me, but I know you." And she said, "I was the nurse that was in your mother's room the night you were born." And she said, "I have a story to tell you." And I said, "Okay." She said, "It's about your birth and what happened, that night." And I was 10 years old when I found out that this situation happened. And my mother had never heard it from someone else's point of view. She'd only known, what she went through, seeing the light and all of that, and asking God, "Please let me see my baby. My baby needs me." So this is how she saw it on her end. But the lady, the nurse, began to tell me what she saw and how, they had given up on my mother. And yeah, she took this deep breath. They started working on her again. So this I'm 10 years old, right? And I'm just amazed. My mouth is hanging open, and I'm like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, in knowing that, at 10, when I was 6 years old, I had the first, I'll say premonition. That's the best way to say it. And I woke up that morning, and I told my mother that my grandfather had passed away. And my mother looked at me like, "What are you talking about? What are you like? Where is this coming from?" And so she told me, "Just go, how she shooed me away and whatever." So I went back in my room, and she said it was about an hour later. I don't remember, didn't remember the time, but she said about an hour later, her sister called and said my grandfather had passed away. And so she was really she was amazed, like, how did Tina know that? Well, how would she even? And we know that people are able to see things that other people can't see, or feel things, or have premonitions. I mean, that's not, we know that as metaphysical, beings,
Mm-hmm.
we know that. So as spiritual beings, but for her at that point in time, it was like, Tina can, she has this. So she came back in the room where I was, and she asked me, she said, "What did you tell me this morning?" And I said, the granddaddy died, you know. And at 6 years old, you would think, okay, how did was I able to just speak on this? Well, when your father is a pastor, you've been to many, many funerals. I'll say that by 6 years old. So I knew about death and about dying, about people passing over and all the things that, you know, they tell you in church about someone, you know, passing. So it wasn't an unusual conversation at 6. It was an unusual conversation that I knew this before she did. And
Mm-hmm.
so she said, well, how did you know? I said, he came to me in my dream and he told me. And she said, really? I said, yeah, he told me that he had passed on. He had passed away. And so, and it was a, you know, when I would have the dreams, it was a really high frequency that I would feel when the person would come into the dream. And so
Mm-hmm.
I began to have those dreams over and over again as time went on. And it was usually someone who was close to me and close to my family, you know, my grandmother or, you know, even my mother. I actually saw my mother's whole funeral 2 weeks before she passed on because she ended up seeing me grown. She was diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 cancer, 3 weeks to, I'm sorry, 6 weeks to 3 months to live when I was 15. And I was turning 15. And so she lived 3.5 years. So she did see me grown. And we had the conversation, Mama, why didn't you say grown with kids and married, you know, married with kids and grandkids? And the whole idea behind, you know, that for her was be careful what you ask God for, you will get it. So when I talk about conscious creation, and you mentioned that in the bio, this is what I'm talking about. You know,
Mm-hmm.
whatever we desire, whatever we ask for, whatever we emanate, it's going to happen. It's for us, right? And you know, people talk about, you know, well, how do you know that? There is a desire in your heart, and source puts it there. It's one of the ways that you know that you're on the right path because it excites you. You get just giddy when you're doing it. Your vibration is higher or highest when you're doing it, and it's part of your purpose. It's part of who you are, why you're here. And so
Mm-hmm.
we're in a world, and this is what makes it tough. We're in a world that teaches us differently, though. We're in a world that teaches us to chase and not
Yes.
attract. So
Yes.
we grow up with the thought that I need to do something to have something, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
taught very early on.
Well, Tina, this is so interesting. Okay, let's continue.
So yes, so you know, as I stated, we're taught to chase, and we're taught to,
Yes.
you know, decide what we want to have in life, to basically do what we need to do to have what we want to have. And then we
Mm-hmm.
become whatever they need us to become, right? To be able to do what we need to do to have what we need to have. And what
Mm-hmm.
I've done with the 4 quadrants inside of conscious creation is start with who you are, the I am, right? And in the I am, you find purpose. You find your purpose in who you are. And so by doing that, if you live from purpose, then you do what you need to do to actually fulfill that purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
by doing what you need to do to fulfill the purpose, then you have what you're supposed to have. As the Bible said, my wish is for you to prosper, even as your soul prospers. So your soul is prospering when you do what you're supposed to do that's aligned with your purpose. And it feels
Mm-hmm.
good. People say, well, I said, no, if it doesn't feel good, it's not your purpose, because
Mm-hmm.
passion fuels your purpose, right? So
Mm-hmm.
passion is the fuel. When I'm working in my purpose, I can do it all the time. I can do it. I can wake up in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning and start to go right on it. Right, God, who do you have for me today? I'm excited about that. Right. So if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't excite you, it's not your purpose. If it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't fuel you, it's not your purpose. And so
Mm-hmm.
but we've been taught that there's something we have to do to live on this earth, to
Right.
make the money that we want to make, right? And
Mm-hmm.
believe me, you can do it in purpose. That's why you have it, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to be abundant. And so out of the having, now you serve. And people say, well, wait a minute, you serve and then you have. No, you have and then you serve. Because if you try to serve and you don't have, you're going to be depleted. So
Yeah.
the Bible even talks about serving in the overflow. You have to,
Mm-hmm.
you give your overflow. You don't give your flow. Right. And I think a lot of people miss that part of it. And they say, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so weak. I don't know how, I've given so much. I've given till it hurts. No, you're not supposed to do that. You're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to make sure you're good. What they say, put on that mask first. When
Yes.
you're playing, put your
Yes.
mask on
Yes.
before you're able to help the child even.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the kind of the concept, I was going to say, the basis of conscious creation. And it goes deeper than that, because a lot of times we're living in fear, right? So we're working from a fear-based place versus a faith-based place. And, faith is not just a wish. Faith is not just a hope. Faith is word, deed, thought, word, deed, thought, word, deed. So the thought is the seed you planted. The word is the water, right? And then the deed is you tilling and getting that thing ready, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
never move, how can things happen for you? A lot of people say, well, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. What are you waiting on? Start moving. And as soon as you start moving in alignment, everything opens up. The world opens up to you. People will start coming and say, I've been looking for you. I want to know if you can do this or that. How, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I have this for you, and source just starts bringing everything right to your door. You don't have to chase it. You can attract it, but you do have to start with thought. Everything around you started with someone's thought. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what you look at in your room, it started with a thought in someone's mind. Your thoughts are very powerful. Then
Mm-hmm.
speak it, and
Mm-hmm.
it becomes so, right? You speak it, and then you put that fire on it, right? And then you just start to move, and it'll things will open up for you. I guarantee you. I guarantee it. And it doesn't have an age on it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
50 plus, we still have the ability to do those things in which we would want to do in this life.
Mm-hmm.
Working with a lady right now, I'm getting ready to call her out because we're working on her book. We're in editing. Dr. Linda Akambi. She's a retired professor from from Kennesaw State University, and 81 years old. She came to
Mm-hmm.
me and she said, Tina, I want to work on my purpose. I know I still have life left in me. I'm not ready to sit down. I'm not ready to travel and the world and with my friends. And it's something else I want to do. Something else is in me. And we started working on the 4 quadrants. And what came out of that is she loved to write. And so this is her second book of life lessons. And I'm just so excited for her because you see the beginning of something, right? You see
Mm-hmm.
the thought. You can actually, see the thought. And then
Mm.
you hear the words, we're going to work on this and we're going to get it done. And, you know, chapter by chapter by chapter just started pouring out of her. One of the clues was when we sat down, she kept telling me stories. And then she would tell me why it was this thing or that thing. And then she would tell me another story. So it was just such a great thing to see
Mm.
her get to the end of this with her second book. And I'm just excited to be a part of that.
That
So,
is so wonderful. I love that quadrant idea. I think that that's very, very true. I think what happens to people is a couple of things. Particular groups are affected adversely. I think women, and then I
mhm,
think our cablins, which is the name for us as African, as women of the African diaspora, people rain on our parade.
mhm,
If you're female, you're supposed to put your life on hold for the family. Like I tell people, everyone in the house can be ill, and the mother can be the most ill, but she's expected to get up out of her bed, to go to the store to take care of everyone, to put her life on hold for everyone else. If she doesn't, she's not a good wife. She's not a good mother because of socialization and how
mhm,
people have been indoctrinated. And I think women, particularly our cablins, we're stepping away from that. We're like, no, no, it's my time, particularly for us who are over 50. We're saying, look, now it's our time now. It doesn't mean that I love you less. It means I love me more. And so
mhm,
I think this is so wonderful. And then what happens is when people see that you are empowered and they can't control you sometimes, then they throw distractions at you to
mhm, mhm,
second guess your purpose. Are you sure you're over 50 now? Why would you start a new career? You're a grandmother now. Why are you wearing stylish clothes? All these kinds of things that they put in your head. And so I think now I know my friends, I know I do. We're pushing that to the side. We're
mhm,
saying, just like for me, it has been my lifelong dream to swim. I'm learning how to swim. I know how to swim. I've had three near drownings, and so it's put a consciousness within my brain. But I said, I'm going to lick this. This is
mhm,
on my bucket list, and I'm starting out slowly again. Overcoming certain tapes in my head. And so I said, no, at this stage of my life, in my seventh decade, I'm going to do this. This is something because I've had dreams where I've been swimming across the pools and whatever effortlessly. And I'm saying to myself, this is something that's in your soul to do. So we're going to do it. So you're right. Age has nothing to do with it. There are people who are getting married in their 80s.
mhm,
Traveling in the 90s because we should not allow people to put those coats on us. I tell people, honey, that's not my coat that you're putting on me. That doesn't fit me. That's your
mhm,
perception of me. And I apologize if I gave you a misperception, but that isn't who I am. And you can't put that on me because it does not fit. So I think what you're doing, Tina, is so wonderful. So let's finish. And then I want to make sure that we have time. Well, right here, let people get your information because I know I would get also engrossed in what you're telling me and I'll forget. Tell people how they could get in touch with you.
You can reach me on most social medias. I'm not on TikTok. I don't do TikTok, but
I
most
don't either.
medias at Tina, Tina, V as in Victor, Wallace, Wallace. It's easy to find me. You can even Google me because I come up number one, Tina V. Wallace. You can also reach me by email at Tina at Onyx Gold Group. Tina at ONYX Gold GOLD Group GROUP.com. And so those are two great ways to reach me. You can look at the website at onyxgoldgroup.com, and you can actually schedule an appointment with me on there. So
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's finish talking about it and then talk about what you have, any workshops. And I know you have this wonderful book that you are giving a link to everyone who's watching it. They will have the link so they can find out about how to order the book on your website. So
Yeah.
what, okay.
I said the book is conscious creation, so that's what we're talking about tonight, and it's an awesome book. I mean, when you drop the link, they'll also be able to see a review of the book and just how it's reached and transformed one particular lady one particular lady, and yeah,
Mhm,
it's a great book. It's not something to be read quickly through. There are questions for you to really ponder, I'll say. And so when
mhm,
what people tell me is that it's one of those books that they're going to carry around with them, for the rest of their lives, so they can go back as a reference book and just remember.
mhm,
Part of it is remember, realigning, reconnecting. My father used to sing a song called "Remember Me," and it's so wonderful because in my 20s I was and my father, he had a his relationship with God, and I was like, why would he forget you? Why would you say remember me? I didn't understand that when I was growing up, but he would sing that song. And when I got older, I was in my 20s, God showed me that, source showed me that this is what it means to realign, to reconnect um,
mhm,
to him, to source, right? Because sometimes we get distracted. That's all it is. It's just those
mhm,
distractions, and we're in a world full of distractions. We can scroll for 3, 4, 5 hours, but we can't sit still just and meditate for 5 minutes. And when you really think about that, we live in a world full of distractions, and so
mhm,
the more peace that you bring into your life, the closer you get, the closer you get to alignment. And recently, one of the things, beautiful things that I got was the word amen. And I used to always just say amen, or amen, at the
mhm.
end. But I got it as breath work, just 4 counts of ah, hold for 4, and then 6 counts of man. So the way you do it is
Mm.
just it relaxes you right away. And I was like, oh wow, that's so, and it just came to me. I said, don't just say the word. It really isn't the ending of something. It really is getting you prepared for something. So it means and it is so, right? So man.
Mm. That's beautiful. And it's also the name, a lot of people who are really fundamentalists in Christianity don't know that Christianity is filled with quote unquote paganism. It's
Mm-hmm.
the, which to me is it's not a negative, but they think so. It's the name of an Egyptian god. And I
Yeah.
tell them, you're
Mm-hmm.
calling on this great Egyptian god at the end of your prayer. No, I'm not. I say, yes, you are.
A lot
Know
of
that, but you are.
Yeah, a lot of words. The word na 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 na. That's a
Mm,
that's another pagan god. Na na, and all the songs. Remember in the 80s and 90s, it was like so many songs with na 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 na. I mean, I was
yeah,
watching a
yeah.
video and they were playing song after song after song after song, and they don't even know that they're saying that and what it really means and what it's calling on.
Yeah, it's very true. It's
It's
very true.
yeah, and words. Well, I don't know if I should get this deep, but words are spells, right? We know
Oh,
that
yes.
words are
Yes, that's what we call it spelling. Yeah,
yes,
the spells.
spelling,
Yeah,
right? Television.
yeah,
Why to television? They're giving you the vision of what your life should be. All of those
yeah.
words, mean something, and especially in the English language, it was the
Oh,
language
yeah.
magic, right?
Oh,
So
yes, filled with that. Yeah.
tired, I am weak, I am
Yes.
I am, whatever, you're calling that into your life and you're embodying.
Yes.
And you say it's better to say today or in this moment I feel a certain way, but never
Yes,
call it
exactly.
I am, because I am are two of the most powerful words in the English language. Whatever
Yes.
why the Bible says I am that I am, right? Whatever
Yes.
I call myself, whatever I say that I am, then that's what I.
Yes.
And so
Yes,
yeah.
I agree 100%. As
Mhm.
a therapist, and a life coach, I tell people you can feel certain ways, but because feelings are letting you know when you're not in alignment and they're passing. So say, I feel angry, I feel hurt, I feel that's very different. That's not a permanent state. It's
Mhm.
transitory, it's moving through energy, it's moving. But when you say I am, then you're claiming the God self within you to create that kind of reality. And then you sit back and say, how did this happen? You spoke it into existence. So let's talk about the title of your book, Conscious Creation. I love that. And
Mhm.
and it's part of the quadrant theory that you had mentioned earlier. And we're always creating, Tina,
Yes, and
consciously and unconsciously, all of the time, without
yes,
words.
in every moment of now, and all we have is now, right? We
Yes, yes,
What's behind us is the past, right?
yes,
It does not exist because it was something. It's a memory, and I guarantee you, your memories are not the truest thing that happened, right? Because
yeah,
two people
yeah.
can walk in the same situation and remember totally
Yeah,
different. So we know our memories are just a reflection of what we think now happened, right?
yes,
The future, we don't have the future. We don't know if we're going to be here in the next moment. We've seen that
yes,
with people that they say,
yes,
I'll see you tomorrow, and then tomorrow doesn't come for them.
yes,
So all we have is the moment of now. So in each moment of now, you are creating. You're creating your next moment. You're creating what's going to happen 5 years from now. You're creating what's going to
mhm,
happen 3 months from now in every
mhm,
moment. And if when you really take it that serious, and you should, when you really take it that serious, use this moment wisely. Don't
mhm,
just let it go by. Sometimes we need to rest. It's okay to rest. Never think
mhm,
rest is where you heal.
mhm.
Sleep is where you heal. Do not never think that you're being too lazy or too. That's just what the machine tells you, right?
Mhm,
You got to
mhm,
constantly be going, 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 and
mhm,
you see people like that, and then they're gone, and you're like, what happened? Well,
mhm,
they didn't rest. They didn't heal. They didn't allow their bodies to actually have that time of recuperation, right? And so,
mhm,
yeah, rest is important. Being reflective, to meditating, eating,
mhm,
and I know
mhm.
sometimes that's a difficult one for us, but eating the right things, because especially now we have so much in our food that it's
Oh
all
yeah,
causing different diseases, and
yes,
take care of your body. This is what you have in this physical plane to be able to move around. Take care.
yes,
So
yes.
so
It's
yeah.
very, very true. And I think once humanity really realizes how much power each individual has, and that you are the creator of the universe, source energy, God, Allah, Jehovah, whatever name, you are an expression of that energy. I mean, I know that intellectually and I know that spiritually, but
Mhm,
sometimes I have to remind myself that you're a drop in the ocean of this big ocean. So
mhm,
when you say things, Jamila, the spirit within you, that's the creator of the universe, is listening to what you are saying, and that energy is obeying what you're putting out there. So people are like, well, why doesn't God do that? I said, because you haven't given the commandment or the direction. You're focused on the glass being half empty. And so the wonderful thing about the spirit for me is that spirit would never override your will, even
mhm,
though even though you're giving examples of, I think you should go left. No, I want to go right. I want to go right. The Spirit's like, okay, and a rabbit might run in front of you to have you go in the right direction. No, well, I'm still going to go. And then you go in the opposite direction of your intuition, and then you blame God and you blame the devil and everything. I said, honey, that was you.
Mhm.
You had signs. You had signs that this person was not the right person. This job was not the right job. Uh, the neighborhood, whatever. But we
Yeah.
become attached.
Yeah. Well,
And
we take the leap anyway. And the thing is, we don't want to really connect with, we are divinity. We are source energy. We are
yes,
individuations of source, right? The
yes,
spirit within us. We are not ourselves. Ourselves were given to us to move around this world, to move, be able
yes.
to navigate, this physical plane. But we are not ourselves. That's why it's called yourself, right? It's not called
Mm-hmm,
who, it's called yourself. And you even refer to yourself, right? So
mm-hmm,
the spirit, we're the spirit within. And we
mm-hmm,
understand that this is part of it. And this goes a
mm-hmm,
little bit deeper.
mm-hmm,
Sit back and you watch yourself,
mm-hmm.
right? You that's the only way you can actually a lot of times make changes is you sit back and you see that you are not yourself and you watch. You're the watcher of what's going on versus you get so much into self that you can't disconnect. One of the ways to heal is to disconnect and be
Mm-hmm,
of self. Then you can take care of self. You're not so caught up in the actual physicality of self, and you
mm-hmm.
can actually heal that way. So yeah, it's interesting. There's some depth to it, and there's some evolutions, and there's some things that we as human beings, not human doings, human beings
Right.
as human
Mm-hmm,
beings, we can get a little bit more spiritual in ways that will help us, with the physical. And
mm-hmm.
so yeah, no, I love it. I love to talk about it. I love to help people. Right now I focus a lot on women, so I help women write their next chapter, whatever that is. So whether
Mm-hmm.
that is a book that they want to tell their story or share with the world, a business, someone coming out of corporate, a lot of people coming out of corporate right now and
Yeah.
wanting to start businesses. Everything that I do though is holistic. So I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
at the total person, not just their business or we look at the total person so that we can help them live in their purpose. If we are all doing that, this would be a different world for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Without people trying to impose their values and their will on you. And what you can do when you see them trying to do this, and that's what they're trying to do now in this country, and it's failing. Uh, there's pushback because people are like, you can't invade my space. And I've told people, I said, if the creator of the universe that's responsible for everything here doesn't impose,
Mm-hmm.
that energy has no right unless you believe it does and you feed it.
Yeah.
Because it would go back to the nothingness from whence it came, you know.
Yeah. We have free will, right?
Exactly,
But
exactly,
then you also have to be respectful of other people that have free will. And that's the thing.
exactly.
Some people are here to be the angel. Some people are here to be the devil. I mean, it is what it is. And so,
Hmm.
what this is what I'll say. Everyone has a responsibility though. If you understand that you are source energy, take the responsibility. And when you take the responsibility, then it's easier to do what you're called here to do. And if you're doing that, you're doing the right thing. You know,
Hmm.
I know that it's hard to understand why some people are acting what we consider acting up, because in our society it's important that we do have rules, right? And treat
Hmm.
well, and all of that. But everybody has a choice. Everybody really has a choice. And so, some people are further away from spirit, right? They're more grounded in their physical, this physical.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important to them to win this physical thing, right? They
Mm-hmm.
they really don't understand. And the thing is, we all have source energy. The more of us that get together with the same mind, the same thought, the same uh, um, you know, possibility of this can be better, the better it will be. We have that power. That's the other thing. We have power. We're not helpless. We're,
Mm-hmm.
so one of the things that I'm working on right now is called the Legacy Project. Let's get in the rooms. Let's make it better. Let's stop talking about it, because remember, thought, word, then we got to do something, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is getting into the rooms and making things, talking about how we make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, one of the projects that I'm working on right now. But no, I'm excited about life. I'm always excited
Mm-hmm.
because in every moment of now, we have a chance to choose something better, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always have that chance as long as we still here. So,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully in all of this, people can see that let's do better. Let's be better.
Mm-hmm.
Be better
Mm-hmm.
beings to each other, right?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think, like you said, sometimes things like what we're experiencing now with people trying to impose their will on others, first of all, you're going against spiritual law, that you're out of alignment when you do that. And it comes back. When you transgress and people are not giving you permission, you're creating a karmic kind of connection. And it comes back, it boomerangs when people don't accept that kind of mentality and people are rejecting it. So you're going to start seeing that dissolve. And the second thing is, too, sometimes how when I'm really in my evolved state, I see, as long as you're in the third dimension, you're going to have the yin and the yang. You're going to
Mhm.
have that undercurrent. You're going to have the highly evolved, and that's to have you. Well, without having that undercurrent, you don't know what is on the other side. If everything is wonderful, whatever, there's no stimulation or impetus for you to grow to the next level. So
Mhm.
I think that undercurrent is to say, okay, I compare it to shoes. If you love this pair of size 7 shoes, they are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But your foot is a size 8. And so
Mhm.
you now need to let the shoe go, but you can't because you're attached to the shoe and how beautiful it is. So you're causing yourself pain
Yeah.
when the body is saying, let's go to the next level, but you're stuck there. So the
Mhm.
same thing with life when people are remaining in toxic relationships or having toxic thoughts because they're attached. Those relationships, even though they feel um, not good, they're there to show you what's on the other side. And what we
Mhm.
do is focus on the person as opposed to the message. The
Right.
message is you deserve better. But because people don't believe it, or because maybe they haven't seen it, they don't dig deeply within their spiritual selves to say, okay, I've never experienced anything but this trauma, but I know in my soul something else is different. Show me. So so-called negative experiences, I think, happen to show us to ask for more.
Mhm.
Some people just say, oh, okay, Spirit, just give me enough money uh, to buy a used car. And Spirit said, I was going to give you money to buy the car of your dreams. But
Mhm.
you're telling me this is what you want, and that used car breaks down, and then you're going to blame Spirit and the devil and everybody else. You put that into motion. You have
Mhm.
a limited vision of the possibilities because you're looking at society that's saying, okay, 300,000 Black women have been kicked out of government jobs. Those women have revisioned themselves and they're starting their own businesses. And a
Mhm.
lot of them are saying that that was the best thing that could have happened because they were sick of that government job, right? So that energy that thought it was undercutting really served a purpose for them to go into their own divine purpose because
Yeah.
those sisters are starting businesses. So the whole thing is when we like you said, Tina, it's so beautiful. When we can step out and become the observer of ourselves, detach, and rather than reacting and say, okay, Jamila, why are you being triggered? What's here that's trying to show you something about you? And then start watching you as an observer, and then you start seeing, oh, now I get it. It's not this person over here. It's something underlying that this person is bringing to me that I need to heal. And then when
Mm-hmm.
you start looking at it like that, you become the master of your fate, and you
Yeah.
become conscious creation. I
Yeah.
love it. So,
And
Tim, do you have any workshops or anything lined up?
excuse me, I'm sorry.
Do you have any workshops or
Yes,
or things?
I have a meeting for the Legacy Project on August 30th. It's our launch. So I would love for anyone that would like to come in the Atlanta area to that. So you'll be able to see that on the website. And then we are having a webinar on conscious creation in September. And we'll have the dates, when you see this, you'll have the dates for that also. So I'm excited about,
Yeah,
just thing that we have coming up. You spoke about the 600,000 African American women who lost their jobs. And when I heard that, I was so excited because I know the creators we are in this world.
yeah, oh yeah,
Just the
yeah,
just the power that we have and what we've done, to create the powers that be in this society. And so
yeah.
the fact that now we are looking to do things, ourselves, I'm excited about it. For
Yeah,
sure. For
I'm
sure.
seeing,
And
I'm
help
seeing
in
it. Yeah,
movement. So
yeah, I'm seeing it. I am seeing it. Well, unfortunately, Tina, we're coming to the close of this wonderful discussion. It has been so wonderful. Ah, all of you out there, please get in touch with this beautiful, wonderful soul
I look
to
forward.
learn more about your purpose and have it become a reality, because age is just a number. I'm
Mhm.
seeing women now and most of them are our Cambridge women, African American women in their 70s, 80s, and whatever. And those women look fly. You're like,
Oh
what? What?
yeah. Age is only a number.
It's on that number. I mean, they are fit, they're beautiful, and they're not trying to look like they're 20 and 30 and 40. Like
No.
you and honey, been there, done that, 20, 30, 40. That is beyond, girl, please, even 50 or 60, I'm done. We're in the new decade and
Mhm.
we're loving it. And we're loving it. So, yeah, it is our time. It is our time. Don't wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow may never come, because every week now I'm hearing that someone has crossed over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't put your plans on hold. Now is your time. Just
Hmm.
say, okay, when you put your head on the pillow for the last time, say, done that, did it, and I feel complete.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Too. Me too.
So
And yeah,
what would you like to leave with our audience?
well, I would like to just read a little bit of the book.
Oh, yeah.
um, and because we were made in his image, creation is also part of our nature. We create with our thoughts. We create with our words. We create through faith. We create through belief. We create through vision. We create through expectation. We create through agreement with what heaven has already spoken. Whether consciously or unconsciously, we are
Yes.
always creating. The question is, what are you creating?
Beautiful. And on that note, beloved, thank you so much,
Thank,
Tina
thank you
V.
for having me. It's
Wallace.
been a pleasure. And
Yes, the pleasure is mine. I'm so grateful and thankful. And for everyone, please get in touch with her. She gave you the information, and your life is going to change. You are going to now become the captain of your ship, as opposed to having external forces tell you. So thank you, beloved. And
Thank
for everyone else, thank you for joining us. And remember to like and subscribe. Gray Lives on the Rise. And I am the host, Professor Jamila Franklin. We're here every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. And the replay becomes immediately available around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can watch it at any time. We have over 103 episodes, and Tina would be 104. So you can go down and scroll and see whatever piques your interest. So thank you, beloved, and tell others, okay? Until next time, be safe. Namaste Hotel. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Scents, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Scents is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.